Welcome to State of the Offense, your unbiased coverage of your favorite team's offense, the Indianapolis Colts. Last year, the Colts finished 27th in total offense, 23rd in passing, 23rd in rushing, and 31st in scoring, which earned them a 4-12-1 record. In the skill positions, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, and Jelani Woods returned from last season's lineup. New playmakers include Anthony Richardson, Gardner Minshew, and Josh Downs. Most fantasy football shows will only mention skill players, but at State of the Offense, we look at the entire offensive unit. We start in the trenches by analyzing the condition of the offensive line. On the offensive line, the Colts will bring back their entire starting five from last season. At left tackle, Bernhard Raimann returns for his second season. As a rookie, Raimann performed at a 75 grade and played 59% of the snaps. The Colts took him with the 77th overall pick last year, and he ranked as the 27th best left tackle in the NFL. Raymond's best football should be ahead of him. Four-time All-Pro left guard Quentin Nelson is back for his sixth season in the league. Last year, he graded at a 93 and he played 100% of the snaps. He was the number one left guard in the NFL in 2022. Three-time Pro Bowl center Ryan Kelly is back for his eighth season with the Colts. He graded at a 77 and he played 95% of the snaps. Kelly ranked as the 12th best center in the league. Right guard Will Freeze saw action as a regular for the first time in 2022. In his first year as a starter, Freeze graded at a 67, which rated him in the bottom five right guards in the game. Freeze had a 53% snap share. Braden Smith is back at right tackle for his sixth year as a Colt. In 2022, he graded at an 82 and played 93% of the snaps. Smith was the seventh best right tackle in the league. One huge reason for optimism about the offensive line for the Colts is that the entire group is under contract through the next few seasons. The Matt Ryan experiment at quarterback went worse than the previous year's Carson Wentz experiment, which was worse than the prior Phillip Rivers experiment. Colts fans may have to deal with Gardner Minshew for a little while, but the long-term situation at quarterback should have an answer now with number 4 overall pick Anthony Richardson from Florida. Richardson only had 13 starts as a Gator, but he is a special player who will definitely show that he belongs. If the Colts are contending for the playoffs, I expect Minshew to start. Minshew is currently the quarterback 83 on ESPN, so he is going undrafted, but he is the number 1 quarterback on the depth chart currently. He might be worth a look in the last round if you need an additional quarterback. Anthony Richardson is currently getting drafted as the quarterback 17, but he is the backup on the depth chart currently. The long-term potential of Richardson as a running quarterback is off the charts, but he should not be the 17th quarterback drafted in the fall of 2023. Proven veteran starters like Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, and Derek Carr are getting drafted after Richardson. Richardson is also going ahead of his rookie classmates Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Before you draft Anthony Richardson, he should be Indianapolis' starter. If you draft him as a 12th rounder and he's still the backup, as a quarterback, he will not be better than Gardner Minshew necessarily for a while. He will not necessarily get more playing time than Bryce Young or CJ Stroud will early in the season. There are established fantasy quarterback twos like Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, and Jordan Love who provide a nice floor for you just in case your quarterback 1 gets hurt. Your quarterback 2 should be a guy that can provide you fantasy points immediately if needed. The Colts bring back the tandem of Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce at wide receiver. Paris Campbell, who had his best season as a Colt last year, is now a New York Giant. Free agent Isaiah McKenzie was signed away from Buffalo, and the Colts also drafted Josh Downs from North Carolina with the 79th overall pick. McKenzie and Downs are smaller slot receivers who are completely different types of players from Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce. The Colts ran a lot of multiple tight end sets last year, so it'll be interesting to see if the Colts incorporate 3 wide receiver sets more into their offense. Michael Pittman is clearly the alpha wide receiver in this offense. The only playmaker who will see the ball more than Michael Pittman is running back Jonathan Taylor. Pittman is currently the wide receiver 31 at the 87 position overall. Michael Pittman in the 8th round is a pretty good deal if Minshew is the quarterback. If Richardson starts early, Pittman may see a drop in his numbers. Alec Pierce is big, tall, and fast. He is the perfect wide receiver for a quarterback like Anthony Richardson. Richardson's best passing skill is his ability to throw the deep ball. Pierce made plenty of contested catches in college with Desmond Ridder at Cincinnati. Pittman wins with size and skill in the short to medium passing game, so he may not reach his ceiling with Richardson, since Richardson struggles on the short game. Pierce is wide receiver 78, and he's going undrafted. I think sneaking Alec Pierce in the last round may be a good draft decision. If Pittman is available in the 9th round, he is a great value. I don't see much opportunity for either Josh Downs or Isaiah McKenzie to produce much in what should be a run-first offense that plays a lot of multiple tight end sets. Last year, the Colts tight end room was confusing and frustrating to fantasy players. Alie-Cox, Jelani Woods, and Kylan Granson were all contributors who got important snaps. Cox is a good blocker in the running game, and he will be on the field the most. Kylan Granson is a smaller receiving specialist who moves around. Jelani Woods is a prototype 6'7" athletic tight end with a lot of potential to be a two-way tight end. After Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, the question is who will command targets in the passing game? McKenzie, Downs, Granson, Woods are all contenders. If Jelani Woods is getting the most attention in camp as, say, the most improved player, or if he emerges as the top guy, Woods may become the answer. Woods is currently the tight end 33 on ESPN. He is not worth drafting right now, but he has the most upside of any player who is currently down on the depth chart. Last year was a tough year for Jonathan Taylor. He suffered through injuries and ended up only playing 11 games. His scrimmage yards dropped from 2,171 to 1,004. His touchdowns dropped from 20 down to 4. And he also dropped in his yards per carry from 5.5 to 4.5. Jonathan Taylor has all the talent in the world, and he may end up being an elite producer once again. The offensive line is top-notch. Gardner Minshew is a mobile quarterback who knows the offense very well. Anthony Richardson is a super athlete as well. To pair an athletic quarterback and a strong offensive line with Jonathan Taylor will allow Taylor to reach his ceiling, which is enormously high. Jonathan Taylor is currently the running back 5 and is getting drafted in the 11 to 12 pick range overall in the first round. If Anthony Richardson looks like he will start early, draft Taylor every chance that you can. Taylor could be the number 1 running back with Richardson. If Minshew starts, you can expect what Taylor normally does, which means that he's still worth a first round pick in fantasy. No one else in the Colts backfield is currently worth a look if Jonathan Taylor is completely healthy. Evan Hull and Zach Moss are similar level talents, except that Hull is a really good receiving back. If Taylor has more injuries, I would expect a fairly even split between Moss and Hull. Hull has upside in dynasty formats and should be a target once the 3rd round comes in rookie drafts. If Hull is going to play early in the season, if Jonathan Taylor misses time, try to sneak Evan Hull in the last round of redraft leagues or make him a priority free agent signing in week 1. Because of the moves the Colts have made, they're one of the tougher teams to project in fantasy football. Jonathan Taylor is the only high-level draft pick. Michael Pittman is the next most important player for the Colts. If the Colts are using the short passing game a lot with Minshew, or if Richardson starts to target Pittman quite a bit as the number 1 option, Pittman can be a difference maker in fantasy. Tie your trust in Pittman with your view of the quarterbacks. Alec Pierce and Jelani Woods are 2 sleepers who can be difference makers for you because of their talent and size and speed, but they both have competition to deal with on the roster. Anthony Richardson is the ultimate gamble in fantasy football because if he plays, he may rush for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns besides putting up passing stats. If you play in leagues with other Colt fans, be careful not to overvalue Richardson. If you don't play in leagues with other Colt fans, don't take him too early because if he fails, you have no chance to win. The time for a fresh start was necessary for the Colts after a very rough year. The team's results should be more stable than they were last year. A healthier Jonathan Taylor and a well-designed passing scheme can bump the Colts up quite a bit on the offensive side of the ball. Shane Steichen has a quarterback in Gardner Minshew, who knows the offense from his Philadelphia days, which will do well for the Colts in the short run and the long term for Anthony Richardson's development. The quarterback timeline is very unpredictable, but we all know that it will be eventually happening for one of the most exciting players to come to Indianapolis in the last 11 years with Anthony Richardson. If you like today's coverage of the Colts offense, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.